everyone, my name's Carol and I live in Wake Forest, North Carolina. And today I'm going to make hamburger rolls or sandwich rolls. In my first video, I showed you how to make bread, and I'm going to use that exact same recipe minus a little bit of water to make the rolls. So let's get started. Okay, so in my mixing bowl, I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, and I'm going to put it on one side of the bowl, 3/4 teaspoon of sugar on the other side of the bowl, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt on this side of the bowl. So that way I have sugar, yeast, and salt. So if something happens and somebody walks by, or my wine delivery comes, or my husband comes in for lunch and this and that, I know exactly what I put in so I don't get confused. So I'm just going to give that a little mix. And then I have 1.5 cups of water, and I'm going to take out 1 tablespoon because I want the dough to be a tad bit drier than the dough that you're using for the bread. But if you add it all, it really doesn't matter. And so I have these great measuring cups that one of my favorite cousins from Texas gave me. So anyway, because you can look down and see the exact level. So anyway, I'm going to pour that in here. Then I'm going to give it a quick mix. And after it's all incorporated, I'm going to wrap it, and I am going to cover it, and I am going to let it rise for at least 12 hours overnight. So once it's nice and combined, see, it only takes like 30 seconds. I'm going to cover it and let it rise for 12 hours. So I just uncovered the dough, and it's risen for 12 hours, so this is what it looks like. So I am going to put a little bit of flour. And then I'm going to put some corn meal on this corner. And I'm going to take the dough out of the bowl. I love these little scrapers. Okay. And then I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to get some of the cornmeal, and I'm going to spread it all over. And with that, I am going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil and sprinkle it with sea salt. And I'm going to let this rise covered for about 1 hour to 2 hours until it's doubled in size. Take 2 seconds to like and subscribe to me. It's free, and it really helps with my channel. Now, back to the demonstration. So my dough is done rising. It's been about 1.5 hours. And when you are at this stage, you want to make sure that the dough is properly risen. So if you poke your finger in it and it stays indented, which is not doing very good now because my finger's not. So if you poke your finger in it and it stays indented, that means the dough is totally risen and you're ready to go with it. If it springs back, give the dough a little bit longer. Okay, so here I have a baking sheet with some parchment paper on it. You don't have to use parchment paper, but I just like to use it because I think it keeps the baking sheets a lot cleaner and makes clean up a lot easier. So I'm just going to brush some olive oil over that. So here's my dough, and I'm going to get about 8 rolls out of this. So I'm going to kind of look and eyeball it and cut it in half. And then with this half, I'm going to look again and cut it into 4 pieces. Then I'm not going to fool around with it. I'm just going to kind of put it in a little bowl and put it on my baking sheet. And then once I have them on the pan, I'm going to move them around and make sure they're spaced out and kind of shape them a little bit better if they're not as round as I want them to be. But you don't want to fool around with the dough too much because the more I'm fooling around with it, the more they're deflating. So with that, I'm just going to drizzle on a little bit of, that's a lot of olive oil, a pinch of olive oil. There we go. And I'm going to sprinkle some sea salt. And then I'm going to sprinkle some black and white sesame seeds. I think it makes the rolls look so pretty and taste great. And then I have some everything seasoning. I'm going to sprinkle some of that. And then I'll leave a couple plain for people who just like a plain roll. So I'm going to put these in the oven at 500 for about 15 minutes until they're nice golden brown. Okay, so I just took my rolls out of the oven. Don't they look beautiful? So I put them in the oven. I baked them at 500 for 15 minutes. So I'm going to serve them today with a turkey burger. So let me get a beautiful roll. slice that in half. You want to toast them, you can toast them, but they're so good just by themselves. There we go. So I'm going to add a turkey burger. And then I have some beautiful peppers here. So this is Italian. I thought I would add some roasted red peppers. Oh my God, doesn't that look beautiful? And also it has some fresh mozzarella on it. And then I'm going to add some fresh basil. Oh my God, doesn't that look amazing? My husband's going to be so excited when he comes over for lunch today. So there we go. There's my homemade hamburger buns, and I'm serving it with an Italian turkey burger with fresh mozzarella, roasted red peppers, and fresh basil. Enjoy.